Do you ever, Grania, do you ever just like at the end of reading the news, do you ever just want to brag a little? Just like, that's right, I'm Grania, you're not. What are you going to do about it? Well?
No, because I'm counting to time. I have to get out on 0. I have to say goodbye out of there.
Do you ever need a wee when you're in there?
No. I'm a
You have to get out on
professional.
0.
I have a wee before I get into the studio and then tell the world I need a wee.
That's
Grania.
what I'm talking about.
See?
You have to get out
why
on
I'm
0.
Grania and you're not.
I watched Pat Kenny on his biggest rating show in our country, hoovering live on television. 2 weeks ago on the Late Late Show, he was showing the people of Ireland how good a new Hoover was.
What was the nation's reaction to the Hoover? Were they all jammed up against the screen going,
They loved it. What it was, to simulate dirt, right? I can't even believe this, right?
He's done it
I was
now.
completely straight in the head when I saw this, but I felt like I had gone to a different realm of existence. They had a section of carpet, and to simulate fake dirt, Pat Kenny poured out muesli. Which is the closest, of course, you can get to dirt, unless you go outside and get dirt.
which would have been unthinkable in this situation.
Ridiculous. He hoovered it up, and there was a genuine, a palpable kind of, see if you can work with me here, people. Just imagine the image, just a click on.
That is such a late noise. Such a, ooh, well done, that's very...
But men like hoovering. That's the thing. It's the one bit of housework men will do is hoovering because it involves a machine, and the machine sometimes with a light on the front of it.
Okay, listen, you've sucked me into your word, ironically. I pick it up, right? If there's a big, cat hair or whatever, then there's a big lump or something, whatever, that I have in the house, I would pick it up, right? This difficult thing, because it, snags off the carpet, and you go, that's why I didn't go. And then I'll bring the Hoover up and go, that's amazing! And then I'm into it, and I'm looking for other things. You go,
Have you ever hoovered the air?
no, tell me about it.
Well, you see, what it is, say, all right, I suppose you're going to be a professional comedian and have nothing to do all day long.
That helps.
Right.
Okay.
So, you got nothing to do. And it's that long stretch between dawn and the evening.
Those are the difficult times. Where daylight rules the earth with its rod of iron.
So what I do is sometimes you get a shaft of light, right? Comes in the window and you can see all the dust in the air. And then you just sit on the couch. None of that leaning over, hoovering the floor like a slave. Right? You just sit in the chair with the nozzle and just watch it come to you, man.
Presumably that goes up and then out again.
I'll be there for me dinner.
What, do you live your mother now? I'll be down for me dinner. And she's there going, Andrew, stop playing with the Hoover up there. Relax, Ma, relax. I am cleaning shafts of light here.
And the cops have swapped. Cop swap.
There is cop swap. Cop swap is on. Cop swap. It's a cross-border cop swap which is going on at the moment.
They're swapping. The PSNI are coming down here and we're sending 2 guards up there, right? Which is fine for the PSNI boys because they have seen everything.
Yes.
Everything up there, right? Yeah, but can you imagine the guards going up there to a riot? I mean, that's just a really complicated situation. Who are you? We're the LVF. Shit, you're not on the list.
You see, but the guard must have a great time because if he's a wee country guard from somewhere and he's been sent up somewhere in Belfast, he's got the uniform and the gun. He's got a gun. Oh, he must be talking, oh, lads, look at that. Take a photograph of his phone. Go and take a photograph of me.
the ones that swap, that exchange, when they go up there, you know, they don't have any powers.
So they're just going up to be people.
They go up to dress as... It's basically, they're playing dress up.
I do like the idea that they have powers. As if they arrive in the north and go, my powers are weak here. It is crying out for the budgie movie to be made.
Oh, it is.
The Arnold, the crazy fish out of water. He's from the north, he's from the south. How will they get on? Kind of. Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't supposed to be here. And like Beverly Hills Cop now going, well, and Schwarzenegger walking on going, marching season is over. The United States, rather than irradiating their enemies, as some people fear the Russians are doing at the moment, have a much more cool way of dealing with it. Have you seen this for North Korea? What they're doing to the North Koreans?
Oh, they're having an embargo on luxury items.
Just on luxury items, right? Because they feel that's the thing that'll really sting Kim.
Yeah.
If you take away his iPod, cigars, and whiskey, then he won't come back.
His Segway. You know, one of those stand-on things that you lean like that? The idea of Kim Jong-il going around in a Segway with his bouffant hair, tiny wee man that he is, going, you will die.
And also, because they've also put an embargo on luxury spirits, you know, because he's big into the cognac and all that. But he's also been advised by his doctor not to drink any more spirits. So surely they should be pushing it on him.
That's what you want, an evil genius who's got a nuclear weapon, who's very drunk and dying of it.
This is his favourite movie.
What is it?
The Bodyguard.
Is it really?
That's his favourite movie.
That's his favourite movie? Kim Jong-il.
Yeah. So they're not going to send him any. He's very upset that he's not going to have any more Kevin Costner movies.
Pretty Lady, he's a big fan of Pretty Lady as well.
Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman.
Pretty lady!
Underwear shop.
Pretty lady!
Underwear shop, I know.
How much of a
Is he big fan of Pretty Lady?
Oh, I like Pretty Lady. Look at you! You want to go on my Segway? Come on, Pretty Lady! Look at me go! I go backwards. Oh, come with me.
That's your North Korean accent, isn't it?
Oh, you want to go? You want to go on my Segway? Yeah. I am Kim Jong-il.
Pretty lady. Has he also been fan of Gone with the Breeze? Star Battles.
Colin,
Have you ever seen that movie, Super Fella? That was right there.
Oh yeah, I rescued a pigeon once. I was
From a life of prostitution. What was this dirt bird doing?
I was sitting in a field years ago with my friends, and next of all we heard this rustling in these bushes, and we all start screaming, "Ah, it's a rat!" Running around, and then one of the girls pointed out and says, "No, it's little bird foot on it," and it was like a Quinsworth bag tied in a knot, and a little hoof. Claw.
it's a tiny donkey. How did he get in the bag?
A little claw came out, and then we slashed open the bag, and it was a sweaty pigeon. He was all sweaty.
It wasn't sweaty. Pigeons don't sweat. When they're in the racing.
It was from being tied in the bag.
So let me get back at the bit of wee silver foil keeper and then go,
Let's not gloss over the fact.
let me
About what you said. Let's not gloss over the intro to that story. Me and my friends were in a field. Yeah, scanger drinking, weren't you? Jeez, that looks like a pigeon. Look at that! It's a little rat. That's what it was.
Surely the bit in the story is that there is a pigeon. It's got a bag over its head. It's a bit of wasteland in Finglas. It's a grass. It's a gangland thing. That pigeon was gonna sing like a canary.
But it's not. But Irish politics has suddenly become sexy because apparently Brian Cowen wants to drop the VAT on condoms. Oh, yeah. There was a bit in the paper, there's a line in the paper in the report in the Sunday Times, and it says the new rate will bring cheaper sex to the people of Ireland from April.
Cheaper.
But
Look, the point with condoms is, it's men don't wear them because, oh, that's slightly cost prohibitive. If only somebody would fractionally reduce the VAT on this, then I would not spread herpes in my neighbourhood. It's because what you need to train Irishmen isn't to buy condoms, but to learn how to have that loving moment where you make some sexy small talk as you wrap this dreadful balloon past your foreskin, secure it on the base of your penis, because it doesn't matter how much of a great lover you are. Just, yeah, let's go. Okay, right, here we go. Okay.
Yeah.
But we need to train the men of Ireland to have something to say there, something sexy and in the moment, just like.
What would you do? What would you do?
You all right? You all
All
right?
you need is a glove puppet. One glove puppet can ease that awkward silence. Which you roll it on.
To be perfectly honest with you, at one point you will have to use the two hands, and it's going to look slightly sick if one of them is a puppet.
Do you ever try and buy condoms as an Irish person in a bar? Do you know what happens? You walk
gives
in,
a pint and a packet of them?
No, you walk in
the machine.
into the Jacks, and you walk in, and I was doing it the other day in a Turk's Head. No, I was buying condoms.
Why were you doing that, Neil?
Boasting about it now.
No, I'm not boasting it. That's the Irish thing. Is I was buying them, and these lads were going, "Oh, he's gonna get us hole. Let's wreck it, right?" So they followed me around the pub, right? When we're gonna wreck it. We go up to the girl and we're wrecking it. And I was going, "Oh, I gotta lose these guys. I gotta lose these." So I just saw my friend Kieran, and walked over to him and went, "Feck it." Walked over and just kissed him on the cheek. I went, "Whoa!" And Kieran went, "Oh, I never knew."
Just kiss him on the cheek, and then we jumped in a taxi and then I shagged him. Like, yeah. That showed them.
Lying there afterwards going, I won't try that again on me.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to the nation, Councillor John Foley, currently running for Fianna Fáil. Oh yeah, baby, yeah. Oh, he got hair. Let's look at John Foley, close up, baby.
Bring him in.
Oh yeah, wow, yeah. There's two things I love about John Foley, right? I love many things about Councillor John Foley, right? He's running in Offaly with Cowan in near one of those, transport hub gateway things. But it's not just the hair, which, let's face it, is wonderful. And is curved all the way around. It's the glow, the halo-like glow, which is the entire way around his head and presumably body. And he is an ear for a quote. He said, "The benefits of play for children cannot be overstated," said Councillor Foley. I will give the Edenderry Playground Committee any assistance I can in moving this project forward to a successful conclusion. Oh, zing!
He looks like he's the image of Jesus Christ with glasses. He's like Jesus Christ in 2007.
A vote for Councillor John Foley is a vote for God.
A vote for Jesus. Councillor Jesus Foley.
Sure, maybe you couldn't find a photograph. Maybe that's not him at all. Maybe he just went to a barber shop and took one of those windows, one of those pictures you get in the window of a barber shop, and he says, "So I'm not going to win anyway, I'm rubbish." And then just stuck it on. And he actually looks nothing like that.
I'm not going to win anyway. I'm rubbish. Go and stand in the action. I don't want to. None of the others like me.
I'm the worst politician in the country, yeah. Now they're taking the mickey with the television. I don't like them at all.
I'd love to meet...
I don't know why they're taking the mickey out of me.
The idea of him sitting at home watching us with a hairnet on. Just sitting there.
You two are just jealous.
Yeah. Because, if I did have hair, that's the way I'd wear it.
The man is a winner. Councillor John Foley. Excuse me? Future TD John Foley.
Taoiseach, could you imagine him? Traveling around the world, people go, he gets off planes, wind whistling, but his hair never moves. The Russians have they're making vodka hooch at home, and it's killed something like 6,000 people in the past few years. This homemade hooch, and the government are now developing state-made vodka that they're going to sell really cheap because most average people can't afford to buy decent vodka, so they buy this hooch, so they're going to have state-owned vodka, and it kills people, right? And they're taking it really seriously. But the thing is, people here reading that in the paper think, Jesus, that's some stuff. If you thought that, I'm going to drink this, it could kill me. You would. I mean, it'd be a great night out. What happened to Brendan? He died.
The one person who did deserve a slap during the week was Cian of Westlife. Cian of Westlife, what a classy operator he is. On Tuesday night, 15th of February, went in front of the crowd in the Point Depot and said, hey, did you all have a wonderful Valentine's night? Did you all get laid? An audience of 8-year-old girls and their parents going, oh.
Just silence and a few fathers going. And maybe one wee girl going.
One of the parents said, an angry Dublin dad said, I will think twice about taking my girl to see Westlife again.
An angry Dublin dad does not sound like that. Angry Dublin dad going, oh, he knocked the bollocks out of him.
Anyway, did any of them get laid?
Did any of the audience?
Was there a response? What was the actual response?
Well, I presume it's a concert, and you know the way you say anything. If you're the band at a concert, they all go, hey! If you anything and a pause, they go, hey!
Well, Fran Cosgrave, Grave, whatever his name was, the man that was in that Celebrity and the thing, get me get me on TV. He was saying that he was their bodyguard for a while. How difficult is it to be a bodyguard for Westlife when your fans are 8? Get away, come on, I'll tell your dad.
Most bodybuilding training for a job like a bodyguard involves doing this and then across and stuff. Don't need it with Westlife. It's all lower hand movements, right? So get up on the head, where you go, right? Fling. Pick him up by the head. Where you go? The captain of the Irish football team was on the Late Late. In order to go, it wasn't our fault. Those nasty people in the papers, they made us cry. And when we cried, we couldn't see the ball. Big tougher Cypriot man.
My heart goes out to Steve Staunton because he's so unemployable now. He's going to end up temping in an office in Sandyford, and that's
So specific his damnation in Sandyford. So I'm the gaffer. Put the kettle on.
But people in Dundalk, and whenever he was first put in position, everybody was they were claiming him. People in Dundalk were claiming him. People in Drogheda were claiming him. Now both of them are going, he's from Drogheda. He's not from Dundalk. And people in Drogheda are going, he's not from here. He's from Dundalk.
Is that how they talk?
They all talk. In Dundalk. Oh, no, Dundalk. It's a beautiful lilting voice, isn't it? There's women screaming things across Carlingford Loch. Oh no, hey, get the water. It's no water.
But I think this whole drama is just a pure example of how boring a sport soccer is, that you need to have all this news around the players and the manager, and it just means go on the gaff. You can't beat it. That's my opinion.
That's how I feel about archery.
Archery's time will come, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, man. It's all about keep the elbow bent but tight. Wonderful. You know, sometimes before you even unleash the shaft, you know that you're going to get a bullseye. And you know all the other merry men will go, hey, nonny. You know what I'm saying?
Does the Olympic archery team, do they get dressed up? Like,
Do we get dressed
Sorry,
up?
do you get dressed up? Can you just turn up with a feather in your hat and like big and green tights on and pointy shoes? Because you know, there's nothing aerodynamic. You don't have to have a kit. You can wear whatever the hell you want. Clang, clang, clang. Boom.
Boyzone for me was something, some might call it a boy band, this, that and the other. I'm 28 years old and I'd go back and do Boyzone tomorrow, no problem at all. I'll tell you, it's great cash.
When did you discover God? When did you discover tattoos?
You know, I had my first tattoo when I was 16, I think it was. My first wage packet. I left school at an early age. Well, I was asked to leave school at an early age. And, you know, I went to work for my father. My first wage packet, I was on my way in to buy some Fila trainers or whatever it is at the time. 16 years old. And I was just passing this tattoo shop. And I just got off the bus and I decided that day I was going to get a tattoo, and I did.
Did it signify anything?
Just a story of my life, to be honest, and it's all relevant to what I went through and what's
Is there one of Ronan and the rest of the lads in the back?
No, they're on my arse, actually.
The play, you're starting a play when? It's in the next couple of weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, we're opening on the 3rd of November in the Olympia for 3 weeks.
Very good, is it? Is it a very good play?
The first person you went to when you came out here was the author, I thought, and gave her a big kiss, which I thought...
Well, she happens to be the only lady here.
Okay, grand. Well,
I'm working
for that.
Even that's disputable,
I
really.
know, I'm sure that you would have worked the room anyway, but nonetheless, you did straight go up and go, how are you? Are you still in a sense of great... Like, I mean, just how many hoops did you have to jump to get the damn job?
How long does it take him to ask a fucking question? What is it you want to know?
Did you have to ride her to get the gig? That's what...
Well, that was me told.
Have you always wanted to do the acting? Like back even when you were in Boyzone, would you standing on stage
no.
white suit and
Basically what
screaming?
happened was I was in Boyzone, obviously,
God,
on
this is
stage.
shit, I want to be in a soap. But has it always been you wanted to do? Like,
Are you all this fucking bad at asking questions? Jesus Christ.
I was in the middle of asking the question.
Only the middle.
He's come out a bit aggressive, hasn't he? He's lashing every left, right and centre.
Very mean.
I suggest we don't talk to him at all for the rest of the evening. He's going to be like that about the whole thing, like, yeah. And how was your week? Was it all right?
I tell you what, that Keith Duffy, he's a good actor, but didn't he act like he could sing for ages?
Right, man. You've been planning on
Have
saying
you
that.
always wanted to be an actor, is what I'm asking you.
You've been planning on saying that to me all day, haven't you?
I know.
No, but when Boyzone finished, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And as you just pointed out very clearly, singing a solo career wasn't one of the options.
My other favourite story of the week is that if you're ill, if you're feeling down, if you've an injury of any description, one man you can talk to is Chris de Burgh. Chris de Burgh has apparently got healing hand. Now, would you like to all step in on this one? This strikes me as a bun fight waiting to happen, to be honest.
In what context would you be near or want Chris de Burgh anywhere near you? How would you want that singing mono-browed little man anywhere near you? It's just a man who writes, this is a spaceman came travelling. He's a freak, right? The strange. It's does everybody know this? Everybody knows the song. You know, la 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 la. It's fantastic. Right, the stranger spoke. Sorry, you have to do it. It's sort of David Brentian type of thing. The stranger spoke. He said, "Do not fear. I come from a planet a long way from here, and I bring a message for mankind to hear." And suddenly, the sweetest music filled the air. It went la 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 la. The sweetest music ever heard filled the air. Coincidentally, written by me.
So just like me, but that's not considered enough. He also can heal with his hands.
Well, okay, I think what it is, the idea is that he laid on the hands of somebody and they were fine. I'd imagine it's the kind of, misunderstanding that somebody with, stage crew is at something and they went, "Oh God, my leg is hurting," and he went, let me touch it. And they went, "Yeah, that's grand, yeah."
That's much better. Yeah.
Halloween not hot anymore, possibly because we're all living in a state of permanent fear. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't need Halloween for that permanent fear because we have birds that at any stage could come and go sniffly. And that's it. We're dead, ladies and gentlemen.
The minute a duck sneezes on you, you're done for with the H95.
H5N1, I believe. I've actually
so catchy. It's going to spread. It's going to spread because they're trying to separate domestic fowl from migrating birds. Because migrating birds.
That's a crazy plan.
It's never going to work. I'll tell you why it's never going to work. Because migrating birds are attractive to domestic fowl because they've travelled. They're glamorous. You imagine you're a little Cork chicken, right? Like boy, Eddie Hobbs, and then one of the swallows come back from Africa, all cool and hello. Where are all the worms? It's going to happen.
Yeah, you do know, it's not a sexually transmitted disease.
They were talking in the agricultural programs, they were talking about how farmers can spot the first signs of some diseases in their birds and in chickens. And they said one of the first things you can spot is, and I quote, they won't be themselves. They'll be a bit down. They'll be depressed. They're in a box this size going, I'm not myself today, you know. Can't move my arms. And the other thing is, these birds, right? Now, I have a problem with birds in general, right? What? Birds. There's millions and billions of birds, wild birds in the world, right? Now, birds have a lifespan. I don't know what it is, but they have a lifespan. They die. They live in trees in the sky, where I don't know where they live. And,
your knowledge is relatively sketchy, it had to be said, ornithologically.
It doesn't matter, right? When they die, where the fuck do they go, right? Because if these birds die, we should, by definition, we should be wading knee-deep in dead birds as we walk down the street, given the number of birds in the world. Has anybody here ever seen more than one dead bird on one street in their life?
No.
There aren't that many birds, really. They just want you to think they are.
Murphy, you discussed at length last week about the death of birds. Apparently this has been taken up by the nation at large, this discussion.
And a student thought this was a very good point and asked a lecturer about it.
What lecturer?
And he said, where are all the dead birds? And the guy, thinking on his feet, said, well, no, a lot of them die in migration and then move back on. And I'm thinking, that's rubbish. Crows, they don't migrate. I say again to the nation, where are the dead birds?
They're all brought into people's houses by their cats.
Oh, that'd be a tragic sight, having your cat dragging a dead swan through the
We have received an email from somebody from the Development Office of Birdwatch Ireland.
Who I do not trust, because his name is Noel Hatch.
Yes. Neil. It's Niall. Niall Hatch. But you're right about Hatch. Hatch is an unusual name for a man in the bird. He's kind of seemed to be born to it, really. Dear sirs, I saw in last episode of the panel that Colin Murphy was looking for information about why we don't find big numbers of dead birds littering the ground, given that we see so many flying around, standing in fields and gardens, etc. I'm loving the etc. Where else do we see birds other than flying around and standing in fields and gardens? You know, queuing in Spar. Do you have any worms? You don't have any worms. Do you not have any worms?
I'll have to get here earlier next time.
They're all gone, aren't they? They're all gone. He continues, this is actually a question that we at Birdwatch Ireland, which is actually the word bird and the word watch slammed together in a really funky way, which is quite cool, with a big capital W in the middle of it. Oh, it's brilliant. At Birdwatch Ireland, this is a question we get asked quite a lot, often by perceptive children. None of yous thought of it. when we do educational talks on birds at schools. This is my favourite. The reasons why people rarely discover their corpses, bracket, the birds' corpses, that is, not the children's.
Has this guy been in trouble before?
No, it's great. Can be found by looking, and finally we have a solution is at the main ways in which they die. One, they're killed by predators such as cats, foxes, sparrowhawks, other birds. What happens when the sparrowhawk dies? Immediately killed. Two, they die from illness or old age.
That doesn't explain where their bodies go.
Exactly. Whenever birds
go to care homes before,
yeah,
and then
birds don't go flap. Oh, pain in me wing. Oh, it's a heart attack. No, they die slowly. They just don't get off, and then they die down, and then they are eaten by predators such as cats and foxes, or they die from severe cold weather or lack of food, and then again they're eaten by cats or foxes.
why don't
they just say cats and foxes?
Yeah, the simple answer to that really is because their bodies are eaten by cats and foxes.
Yes, but no. Point 4, or they're eaten by the undead. Who eat it doesn't explain why we don't see lots of skeletons.
Exactly. There's a point. Neil Hatch, if that is your real name. Seagulls. How come in the sea there aren't loads of dead seagulls floating around on the sea? Their lungs are full of oxygen, they would float on the water.
Because they're eaten by catfish.
Have you ever been to Delamere?
I have.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's democracy in action.
It's like the world's shittest barbecue. It's just 100-odd old men just rowing with each other.
Shittest barbecue.
This is?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Hello.
Are you not hot right now?
I'm very hot right now.
I can feel the sexual tension from here.
Don't mind them, I think you're lovely.
Thanks very much. I'm a little bit hard now. We do informal bonfires.
Yeah. That's just a fire.
Yeah. They can happen any time of year. It's just whenever a good car comes along. A really
Or a nice
flammable
mattress.
one. Oh, a car and a mattress. It's a party and then a fire after. See what I'm saying?
Never gets to 3.
You two have the least comfortable viewing sexual tension I've ever seen.
There's a woman who knows all about grisly activity. Is a second guest this evening. She's a successful writer and ex-fashion and beauty editor. Start again. Beauty. I'm learning from your university book.
Yeah. It's all pimp talking now.
Our second guest tonight is a successful crime writer and an ex-fashion and beauty editor. Fucking try it again.
Yes, he is a cock.
Dara, it's all gone wrong.
Right. He told me everything to know. Our next guest this evening is...
Just stay on the phone.
Our next guest this evening knows all about... What the fuck? What?
Just mime it.
Okay. Our next guest this evening knows all about grisly activity. She's a crime writer and ex-fashion editor of the RTE Guide. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome...
That was really
Oh, you're laughing now. Wait for take 57.
Before we go any further, I should point out that Andrew, if everybody's got their, everybody looks forward to the Christmas edition of the RTE Guide. And if you open it up inside among the celebrities, oh, who have we got here? Andrew in a suit. Look at that.
You definitely GHD the hair for that.
Like something out of Arnott's window. Look at you.
Maxwell, was it on the way to or coming back from court?
This is the best Christmas pose.
I love this one.
This is the best Christmas pose ever, right? Oh, you have to do Santa hats. Oh, no, they didn't do Santa hats this year. What did they have? They had snowball fights.
Oh.
And look at Andrew. Oh, look at him. Throwing a snowball. In a jesting way. And who's he throwing the snowball at? Why, it's Joe Duffy. That was a good look for you, that.
No.
Accused.
I think you find that's £1,000 fucking Hugo Boss suit, you.
But they're
They didn't get leg measurements before they got it for you.
No,
obviously.
they didn't get leg measurements.
Did you turn up and they go, oh, you look an awful lot bigger on the telly? Yeah. Because it's just a little bit crumpled down the bottom there. You're sort of hidden behind.
You know as well as I do, I did the photo shoot because it had to be one of us from the show and you pair of cowards chickened out.
Right? That's true.
Right?
However, I'm doing the Angelus next week. Do you fight much?
Huh?
Do you fight much between yourselves?
Is that the best you could come up with, Dara? Good. Oh, God, he has it written down and all. Oh. Do they fight much? Do they fight much? Look at that. Huh? What in Jesus' name are you doing on television? Not bad, right? You feckin' 4-foot fanny head. That's what he is. They have him on television, Pudge. I know.
That's very mean.
It's a bit hard. No, come on, 4-foot fanny head. No,
How tall are you? How tall are you two? He is 4 foot between you.
Ah, there he is. Ted Byrne coming in there at the last minute. Coming in at the last minute with a little... It took him 5 minutes to come up with that little... Hey, Ted, how tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
Yeah, you're a 5'9" fanny head. It works on everyone. Right.
Here, lads, have
You don't sweat much for a big man.
I don't.
In fairness. That's a skill. It's a skill in television to be that big and not sweating. That's quite impressive. A whole barrel you pile on the old antiperspirants, good man. That's right. With your disproportionate head. Yeah.
200 secondary school students from Coatsford Community College in Cork walked out of class on Friday to protest over conditions in their school building. They stormed out at 9 o'clock. I think they stormed in at 5:02. But they stormed out at 9 o'clock to highlight freezing classroom conditions, poor toilet facilities and the lack of hot water in bathrooms and showers.
Yes, but they stormed outside where it was colder.
I think that's fair enough, man. That's bullshit, man. You can't ask kids to be educated in a freezing environment.
We all were.
What? I wasn't. We all had armchairs in our school.
I remember the day I forgot my pipe.
First lesson of the day was how to refill your pipe. And then after that we learned some basic rudimentary sailing knots.
It was kind of mean in that school, though, because they turned the heating on for 5 minutes in the morning.
Jesus.
How can you heat? You couldn't heat a gerbil's cage in 5 minutes.
Maybe it's one of those big industrial blocks. You know those ones they use in shopping centres to heat the place up? You know those big tube things like a jet engine? Into each classroom. There's just loads of kids going, Jesus, it's fucking burnt. All red down one side of their face.
Oh, the best thing was, do you remember putting your arse against the radiator?
Oh, yeah. Or did you ever get your arm stuck down the radiator in school? There used to be a scrap in our school to get the seats by the radiator. So we'd get in and you'd put your arm on and be all lovely and toasty, and then you might kind of slide your arm in. And then your arm would get fat with the heat, and the class would be over, and you'd be like, oh, no!
Your arm would get fat with the heat?
Yeah. Yeah. You never got a fat arm from heat, or
no.
Fat hands?
I think you're in denial.
topical questions coming in from the audience. Jennifer McGrath from Dublin. Hello, Jennifer. Asks, are they Rice Krispie cakes or Rice Krispie buns?
Buns! Buns. Don't be an idiot. They are not cakes.
They're cakes. They're so obviously
They
cakes.
are buns.
Of all the questions in the world that Jennifer could have asked, this is the one that she most needed solving.
Right, I've got a cake. Dictionary definition, which I looked up beforehand, is a sweet baked confection usually containing flour, sugar, flavouring ingredients, and eggs or other leaveners such as baking powder or baking soda. Are any of those things the major ingredient in a Rice Krispie bun?
However, I'll give you that. What's the definition of a bun?
It's half of an arse. A bun is something that comes in its own wee case and it's got its own wee paper case, right? You make a Rice Krispie
But it's soft.
bun.
A bun is soft and squishy.
What the hell are you confusing things? What kind of...
Maybe yours are, Dara.
What kind of Rice Krispie bun are you making that's soft and squishy?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Rice Krispies buns
Okay.
aren't soft. I'll get just as angry as you about this.
Grania, sit in between them. There's some sort of Kofi Annan of the fucking confectionery world. Calm it down.
What about a cornflake then? What's a cornflake one?
Nobody makes chocolate in cornflakes.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
I'm getting upset now.
Everybody calm down! Jennifer McGrath, you bitch! Look what you've done to this show.
Oh! That's my mother you're talking about.
Who is he?
Who's McDowell?
Yeah, who is he?
He's a lord of the Sith. He's the leader of the PGs. And
He's tarnished it.
He's the second ugliest politician in the country.
Well, that's some
narrative.
contest in this country now, isn't it? I mean, once you got Harney out of the way, then you're...
Oh, I didn't include her, no. Sorry, the ugliest, second ugliest male
Who's the
politician.
ugliest male politician?
Count, Jesus.
Shrek.
He's just a man attached to a pair of...
What? The Minister for Finance from Offaly is ugly? Be gone, wench. For he is one of my people.
Maybe he's not ugly by Offaly standards. In Offaly, he's known as Kid Joe Handsome.
He is our leader.
Looking good there, Kid Joe Handsome.
I'm actually a member of a casino.
Really?
Yeah.
Something to be proud of?
Well, I don't know really. I opened up my postbox one day and there was a letter there, opened it up, and there was a picture of me, which was kind of a really dodgy looking picture of me, kind of looking a bit weird. And it was called the Sporting Emporium, Mairead Farrell, membership number 1129, and a picture of me. And I just went, oh my God. My husband is after signing me up to a gym without me knowing. What a prick. So he came in from work and I was all, what's wrong with you? Nothing. And I had a massive fight with him. God, I can't believe you signed me up for a gym without telling me. You should have just dropped hints that you thought I was putting on weight. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, this. I'm talking about this. And he's like, that's when we were locked a few weeks ago and we ended up at the Sporting Emporium, which is a casino, you dope. And we joined. And I didn't even remember it. So I'm now officially a member of a casino in Dublin.
What exactly?
And an alcoholic, by all accounts.
And also, clearly not a member of a gym.
What hints? No, what exactly?
Listen!
Oh, and she wouldn't think that her boyfriend or husband would sign up for a membership of a gym if she was already the member of a gym. That's all I meant. You made it rude.
Fight.
They think you're fat.
Fight.
I don't.
No, Maxwell thinks I'm fat.
No, he said you're comfortable.
He said
I want you to tell me exactly what hints that your husband. You said to him, "Oh, yeah, would you not drop some hints?"
Yeah.
What hints would you like to say?
stop buying me minstrels every Thursday for Thursday night treats.
Look at that so horribly coupley. Thursday night treats.
No, tell them what happened last week.
Oh, yeah.
Tell them what happened last
Listen,
week.
this isn't a counselling session.
No, this is talking about Thursday night treats.
Last last week, the lad said, are you coming out for pints with us after the show? And I said, yeah, down for a pint. And then I went, no, actually I won't. I haven't seen Eamon in over a week, really. We just keep missing each other. He's been busy, I've been busy, so I'm going to go home. So I sent him a text message and said, you know, hey, honey, I'm going to come home because I haven't seen you all week.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Expecting a really nice text back, and he beeps straight away, deadly chips.
Give that bitch.
Saddam Hussein's trial started last week. Excitingly, he said he didn't recognise the court.
And I'll tell you why. Because his solicitor is from Derry. That's why. Seriously, his solicitor, one of his legal team is from Derry. And that is such a Derry defence you would not believe, right? Whatever you do, just attack, right? Whatever they say to you, just attack. No wonder he said that. He said, they said to him, it says, what is your name? And he, what's yours? You know, it's just... Who am I? Who the fuck are you? You know, your man's there going, that's it, son, keep it up, keep it up.
I saw Iraqi State TV when he was still in power. He was drunk. That's the thing that you never see about. Why did Saddam come on the news after 9/11 going, ha ha, you deserved it. That's what he taunted America and they invaded him. Because he was drunk all the time. He drank 2 bottles of whiskey every day. He used to pop up on the news, not as an item, in the studio. Just like a desk of that, and he would just pop up in front of them, just like, and you could tell he'd been asleep somewhere because he had nap hair. He'd just turn up on the news just like...
I heard you talking about the posters earlier on, and there were lots of little jokes. Maybe you've used them on the way down, but there was the one of Mary Harney, which you talked about, saying, don't throw it all away. Yeah. And apparently some wag had put underneath it in pencil, or I'll eat it.
Look, it looks like it's going to be all these wacky independents are going to hold up the balance of power, and they're going to be able to ask for all sorts of wacky crap so that Bertie can get his bullshit machine on the road again. If you were one of those wacky independent losers from some sort of corrupt little backwater, what would be the things that you would bribe a fairly democratically elected government into doing?
Well, your lyrical and sophisticated political intelligence has left me dumbfounded and lost for words.
What would you do if you were one of them? If you were one of the independents, you were one of the, 5 independents, and you had that pivotal position?
Well, I hope I would have the conscience to do what Tony Gregory did. It was a fantastic situation. You would all be too young, lick, to remember it. But I remember it very well indeed when Tony Gregory did the deal with Charlie Hoy. What is going on over here? You can't do that again, honey. Oh, what a time.
You cannot, I just said it, and I cannot imagine one of the House of Lords coming in and just go and punctuate every sense of it. Lick. You know what I'm saying?
You are joking. Don't we remember a few years ago one that was found dead with a pair of tights and an apple stuffed in his nose or whatever it was? I mean, the House of Lords is swinging. Believe me.
I have no doubt that they're up to all kinds.
Listen to the House of Lords.
Trying to top off with everybody going on lick. Before I answer that political point, I just want to say lick. It's beautiful. I think it's a lovely thing. Your honesty is wonderful and refreshing.
But surely we're not on television. Are we really? You mean there are people out there watching?
You never know. Audience.
Oh, dear.
You're used to this because you're in the Senate. People watch this.
The other big case on driving was there was a businessman caught in Letterkenny doing 196 kilometres per hour in his Porsche. Actually, in fact, the first time he was travelling so fast, no speed could be detected, apparently.
Well, it actually said that it didn't register on the guard's laser gun. I mean, he's got ideas above his station. It's a speed gun, not a laser gun.
You're an agent of the state. We don't know what they have.
They go so fast. What was that? I don't know. It was fast. But something definitely went past me. The guy was speeding, obviously over 196 before he got detected. And so this is another quick tip. We're learning loads of tips tonight. If you want to speed, do it over 196 kilometres an hour. It will not register on the gun. And but then he went up the top of the road, turned, and came back down again.
And then the judge didn't take his license off him because he said he needs his license for his job, which to me is the greatest cop-out.
He gave him €1,500. A man who owns a Porsche, so much that he'll drive it at 190 kilometers an hour, was only fined €1,500.
Because he needs his car for his job. It's like that kind of defence doesn't wash in Saudi Arabia. You've been done for thieving. We're going to cut your hand off. I know I need that for my job.
What's your job?
What's your job? I'm a thief. I'm a thief with no hands, be a useless fucking thief, wouldn't it?
But this is ridiculous. What they should have, right? They should be able to take your man's swanky Porsche off, right? Yeah. And every court should have a series of court-appointed 1.2-litre Ford Fiestas, right?
Well, like the special pants where you wet yourself in school.
And you have to drive them for 3 months. And the horn when you press it goes, arr, arr. Warning, warning. It would go as you drove down. And the car would be tuned as to not go more than 15 miles an hour, right? And you have to drive down Letterkenny Road. Warning, warning, bad man approaching. Right? And the court could have some guy with a flag walking in front going, dangerous person. There's a dangerous man on the road.
And it's permanently tuned into Joe Duffy at all times. Extra punishment.
I think we should go for an ice cream van with the music. The music has to play all the time, but here's the punishment. No ice cream. So, all day, every day, you have to deal with the relentless disappointment of children. That's it, you're just I don't like an ice cream! I used to have a Porsche! I'm sorry, children.
That is like no ice cream van. I actually met a guy from the Garda press office during the week who came up to me on the street and said, would you ever just give us a break for 1 week on the pan? No. But it's things do skip happen. I personally always held a grudge because I was many years ago at a party and it was one of many parties that I went to at the time. It was crazy days.
A Garda party?
It wasn't a Garda party. It was just a party. Just a party. Yeah. Wow. Just having some party with some friends, just hanging out, just being myself, just being having a crazy time, right? I was outside with a few others and I was teaching them the dance to Saturday Night by Whigfield, which was...
You were teaching this to guards?
Not to guards. The guards haven't arrived into the story yet. The guards have made an appearance later. It's just a party. I didn't hang out with the guards, right?
Because that is a sight in my mind, that is a vision of you doing the Whigfield. Could you teach us the Whigfield?
There was something, no, step, and then right.
Do the Macarena.
It preceded the Macarena.
Do the Macarena.
The Macarena was a lesser.
Do the ones Limerick.
Okay.
Get up and do the dance.
I can't do it. No. Anyway, but no. I'm sorry to break it to you, but your powers are weak.
Back to the story.
Sorry. Anyway, so I'm teaching the Saturday Night Whigfield dance to some friends, right, who didn't know it. I thought, well, we'll go back.
What kind of friends are they?
Well, I'm not still in touch. That's it. So I'm teaching them to it, when suddenly, right, this is the point where the guards appear, a torchlight comes in, cutting across us like some sort of 20th Century Fox movie premiere. Beams of arcs of light sweeping across the place, and a voice goes, what kind of muckology is this?
I hate going into I love going into Superquinn, actually, that's a complete lie, but I hate going through the checkout at Superquinn. And just because you've handed them a card that has your name on it, they hand it and go, now Fiona, thanks very much, have a lovely day. I don't know you, don't call me by my name. They do it in the bank as well.
They don't like it when you call them by their name. They don't like that. You know the way they all have to wear badges now?
Yeah.
You walk around going, right, Frank. But just lean in, don't be dealing with them. Don't be leaning with them. Spot one of them earlier on as you're walking around the supermarket, right? Spot one that's stacking a shelf or something. Catch a wee deco with his thing, right? And then bugger off around the supermarket again. And then walk past, lean in and go, right, Frank? And just keep going. And then get a name of one of the girls, right, down at the till. Like Deirdre, right? Then you walk around and go, Frank.
Deirdre likes you.
Frank Sergey.
Well, you'd have to make a pirate joke with your cardigan on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, the pirates, known for wearing cardigans. I was watching Dead Man's Chest, and honestly, Johnny Depp couldn't move for cardigans in that film.
It's a bit chilly tonight. Not very cold like a coat, but quite cold like a nip. A little bit nippy. I'll put a cardi on. Mother, button it up. I'm not that cold. All I'm saying, I don't want to whinge or nothing, but I'm a little bit cold. And it's either that or turn the thermostat up, and I don't want to do that. So maybe a cardi.
So, a proper West Country pirate. And then to see to me farming.
It's time for me to steal crap off a beach. All the good stuff's gone. Thankfully, there's still a cargo of carnies. Yet you come ashore slightly wet. I don't mind, I can dry them out.
I really do feel that there was probably more sex held or had 20, 30 years ago.
Held, I like, makes it sound more like an event. We should be holding some sex tonight.
What about the
You
people?
could invite the audience to
I
join
could
in.
invite the audience to come in. I've already selected a number of people that we think we should. You think during quiet moments when he's off and think that I'm not just looking at the
You're
audience
eyeing,
going,
you're
"Jeez,
saying,
look at
"Oh,
them
sure,
now." It's
Mary, obviously, you know, when people come to you, they're very distraught and it's very serious, and the problems are very serious, and that. But has anybody ever come to you and told you something, and you've just thought, "You dirty bastard"?
In hope.
You know, I can't tell anybody, I'm going to write it on the toilet wall.
How do you bring up the idea? Let's go to a sex therapist. That's immediately, you know, relationship. Hello, what? Because presumably one person doesn't know there's a problem, the other one's going, oh boy, there is. But how do you bring up this
If you haven't been having sex for 6 months, 9 months, you feel pretty desperate, and you will go to a sex therapist to try and get it.
No, but what happens if it has
if you
been
have a
happening?
fetish or you have something that you want to bring up?
Yeah.
I think what they usually do is they start off by saying, I was reading about this sort of fetish, you know, this whatever it is, cross-dressing, and what would you think of that? And they can gauge then by the response whether they can take it another little bit.
You don't arrive in a wetsuit going.
What would you do then? What would you do then?
People that burn down thatched cottages for a fetish. And stand downwind and get the smell of the cottage, and it's just, yeah, like...
How long is your waiting list?
That's not weird, is it?
You're saying you might get a sexual thrill from that?
You're kidding me. Dave, how long it took him to thatch you? Ages. How long did it take you to go to Esso and get some petrol?
The great thing is the weapons of mass destruction report came out, and it made no difference to anything whatsoever. It was the same as the interim report. Basically, the ISG never found weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. They found paperwork and documents that suggest a weapons of mass destruction program might possibly exist sometime in the future.
But there's no actual organised program. In fact,
I
there's
have a
less
Kylie Minogue calendar in my house. That doesn't mean I actually have Kylie Minogue in the garage. They found instructions, is what they found. My dad bought a self-assembly wardrobe from Bargain Town last week. He got instructions with that. It's never going to turn into an actual wardrobe, though. Right? If the Iraqis are the same, they'll build a missile, it'll look like a press. There'll be bits left over. When they go to fire it, the door will fall off. And then Bush was going, no, this is justification for war. It's not, like. I hope they never work for the Missing Persons Bureau. We found your son. Have you? No. We found a photo of him.
There's a report, actually a documentary during the week about St. Patrick. Apparently St. Patrick took bribes from the people he converted. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I know. Shock and horror in the room at that stage. Apparently St. Patrick took, tributes, duties. I don't know how you describe it.
They're called donations.
Really?
Yes.
Is this happening a lot in the church? They say?
Well, if you get married, you make a donation. If there's a funeral, you make a donation. Altar boys do very well.
As an altar boy. An absolute fortune.
The notion of you as an altar boy is in itself quite stunning.
I used to be a head altar boy, and does not mean what you think it means.
Yes, it does. I was an altar boy as well, I know.
But yeah, no, the altar boy thing. I was an altar boy, and we did. You make money at weddings. Weddings in particular, you make loads of money. Funerals as well. You used to make money at funerals. Not as much. It's hard to coax money out of people when you're standing there. Because the priest's there. He's getting there before you, going, sorry for your trouble, sorry for your trouble. Praise the flesh. And you're lurking behind him going... But it's fantastic. And you only have to do a good job. Like, there was an altar boy in Downpatrick I'm from, and he forgot to bring the bell out onto the altar before Mass, and Mass was going on. And then he suddenly realised he came to the bit, and he went, and he's looking around, he's thinking, I gotta sneak back and get the bell. I can't. So he's there, and it comes to the hokey pokey bit, and he puts the
hokey pokey bit.
Yeah, and he does the jiggery pokery, and Alakazam, and he does that bit, and he goes, take us all of you, and the wee lad panics, and so he's supposed to ring, so he just goes ding-a-ling-a-ling. It's brilliant. The priest just goes down and behind the altar like this, and all he sees that. Comes up, goes. But the worst thing is, the whole congregation now know, right? And they also know he's got another one to do. The priest is trying to keep a straight face. He broke the man. Mary Harney is in a bit of trouble this week. She's got a vote of no confidence against her for her excellent management of the health service. And someone who's offered to step into the breach and take over from her is Michael O'Leary, who today announced that he would like to run the health service as long as there's no interference from politicians. He says he could run it, make it efficient, and it would work properly. Ambulances wouldn't take you exactly to the hospital. But near enough, He's charging for wheelchairs already, so he's not far away from her, really.
You need a drip, and that'll be extra. Mary Harney, the thing that pissed me off about this most of all is the consultant wrote a letter to her personally years ago, and she didn't do anything about it until the disaster this year. You can't function like that. She would be a shite Santy, right?
I was just going to say, I think it all boils down to management issues because, it started off with Steve Staunton. He was a footballer. They tried to make him a manager. It didn't work. Same with Brendan Drum. He was a doctor. They tried to make him a manager, and it doesn't work. So I think they need to try and find actual managers who are going to be good at their job and try and make everything
efficient. What the hell was Mary Harney before she became manager?
My lover.
All right.
Here's a story I want to hear.
She's an extraordinary, gracious lover.
Really?
The only thing is, it's bouncy castle rules. You got to take off your shoes before you get on top of her. Seriously, listen, I think it's time to look. She's clearly incompetent, and she is a member of this tiny party that really is
her.
Yeah, it's her. But beyond that, we should definitely stop mocking her for her bigness. This is getting out of hand. I was in a lift in Cork a couple of weeks back in a hotel that I know a lot of comedians stay in when they go down to Cork. I'm not looking at anybody in particular, Neil, but this looks like it could have been you. Because on the lift...
Was it the Radisson?
Yes, yes it was. The suite. Because, it was a crappy lift, and it says on it, a little sign saying, this lift takes a maximum of 3 people, and somebody had written underneath, or 1 Mary Harney.
The best bit about the whole budget is for 24 hours, first-time buyers were actually could afford houses. On Wednesday, Brian Cowan went, extra money for everybody, hooray! And on Thursday, they just went, mortgage interest rates have actually been increased. It's like the European Central Bank is like a beautiful woman just going, do you want some? Do you want some? Do you want some? You can't have any. It's almost like there's an evil German sitting in, watching our budget going, well. So, you think you can afford a house? No. You will have two choices. One, you will live with your parents forever. No. Or two, you will go on, I'm an adult, get me out of here.
Nothing is worth that.
Have you seen our program? Best program on television. These freaks.
Listen, people are just at home are currently recovering from watching it, and they're sitting because it's on just before us, and it is just insane.
So annoying. These people. I want a house. I deserve a house. I want a house. Look at all my shoes.
Why can't I afford a house? I spend my money on shoes.
Look at my shoes. Yeah, I earn €20,000 a year. I want to buy a house for £1 million. Why can't I do this? And then
they bring them to show them flats, and they show them these they're flats. They're not apartments. When did flats suddenly become apartments? They're flats. And they bring them and show them these places that they can't afford.
Yeah,
and they're shoe boxes. And they go,
it's not very big, is it?
No, the best bit is when
I can't get all my shoes in here. I want something bigger.
You know when they get their parents, the best bit is when they get their parents, and you can see the dad going, oh no, you know, I'm really proud of her, and I couldn't be proud of her, or I'm more proud of any daughter. You know, she comes in every night, no matter where she's been, and she comes in, she knocks on the door, and she tells us that she's home. You know, any time of the night at all. You know, doesn't matter what we're doing. Anytime she comes in. Please make her move out. Please make her move out.
That's all it takes for kids to move out, is for their parents to start walking around the nip. Like, if you're, 30-something and your parents are walking around in the nip at any given moment.
On that show, the dad should just stand, or just...
But in a vest.
No, she just stand right with a glass like that and go, who's your daddy? Who's your dad? That's it, Maureen, that's it. Oh, slap the arse off me, go for it. Just to the wall. And get the man jumping up and down in the bed like that. That's fantastic, Seamus, that's fantastic.
I'm so glad I'm not going out with any of you.
That's the way they do it. That's the way they make love, side by side on bouncy chairs.
The level of heckling in the Dáil is pretty pathetic, isn't it, really? Because if that was a club, that's the first heckle that will be out there.
Well, maybe TV cameras will up their ante a little bit. Maybe they'll start yelling a bit more, outrageous things at each other.
Well, it might up their appearance a little bit as well. So they're all bet down. Everybody there is bet down. They're just like complete munters. Like everybody is.
Is Enda Kenny not a handsome man?
No.
He's a handsome but very small man. Apparently he's less than 5 foot high. Seriously. Apparently people think he's standing very far away, but he's actually up close. Seriously. People are that's like.
He rings your doorbell, you open the door, and you think he's at the end of the path.
I think he'd be great in bed.
Enda
Kenny.
Enda Kenny?
Yeah, because he's gone for you now, Mairead. Because he.
For you? For you?
Because he's got one of those bedroom voices.
He doesn't.
He doesn't want to open his mouth because it's just something too sexy might come out.
It's not. It is.
Like pubic hair.
Yes. Yes, something that sexy.
I'm putting it in.
It's not. It's one of those. It's not. It's one of those dirty country voices.
Yes, dirty.
It is very dirty.
All right, you think I'm me going now here? Well, look, two of you saying the word dirty to each other again and again. This desk's going to tip over in a minute.
I was getting ready to go out with my sister earlier on in the year, and I was half dressed. I left the front door open, and the doorbell rang, and I shouted, "Come in, Olga, door's open, come on up." Ding dong, again, and I was like, "Will you come in?" Ding dong, and I, fuck's sake, went down the stairs, swung open the door, dressing gown, rollers in my hair, and there was Bertie Ahern. Standing on my yoke.
Did you have a bunch of flowers? Did you have a...
You are actually in his constituency. He didn't
I am.
follow you to another part of the country and go, I couldn't help noticing there was a pothole outside your door. And I could fix that for me if you want. He
just says, is everything all right in the area? And I was like,
What area?
What,
Where do you heard him calling to your door?
Because
Hold on, let's just get
Were
one
you
thing
in,
straight.
were you in like
He
the Irish version of Love Actually?
Do you meet many women? You know,
Oh,
you have
Jesus,
a
do I?
partner?
It's like a revolving door.
Your nose is
I'm
growing.
in and out like a fiddler's elbow. Please, Mom, don't watch this.
You know, like girls, teenage girls especially, right? Teenage girls, they've got this thing in their head that if a bloke's ignoring them, that means that the bloke fancies them more.
Oh.
Teenage girls always do that. They always end up going, is he looking? Is he looking? Is he looking? No. Whereas teenage boys are going, looking at what? Looking at what? Looking at what?
I've seen exactly women. The thing is that I've seen women be in a group of 5 men being incredibly sexually flirtatious, like one girl being incredibly sexually flirtatious with all these guys, and then I've seen her just glance over at somebody like that, and I've realised that what she's doing is she is showing off how sexy she is with a bunch of other guys. So the guy over there notices how cool she is, but of course what happens is the guy over there, because men really need to have clear, logical signals, look around and say, she's after those 5 men.
Of course she is.
Do you need it explained to you, right?
That's why Sex in the City has been on for the last 5 years to teach you that that's not the way it
You'd
works.
never break into the 5 guys and go, sorry lads, I think she's after me all along.
So women seem to be sort of flirtatious within a group of people,
You're a
isn't
dreadful
it?
flirt.
Yes.
That's the word, isn't it? You're
Yeah.
a dreadful flirt.
No, a whore is the word. This is Ireland. Women shouldn't talk to men.
But she's right, though. It's true. It's true. I'm trying to say that women can be flirtatious with all sorts of people, and you can behave flirtatiously. Like touching people is very, it's kind of.
No, don't do that.
I can't reach the rest of you. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'll do it even more. I'm a polarity responder.
But you're a what? Polarity responder is where you tell somebody to stop doing something, and they do it even more.
Now.
It's kind of a fancy term for annoying bastard.
No, it isn't.
Ah, it is. Don't be like that, Heather. We all do it.
Did you flirt with the leopard?
I've seen you on the news.
No, I flirted with a nylon factory.
I'm a polarity responder. I'm just a polarity responder. What am I? Don't be afraid of my polarity. I once had to go on British national TV on a live TV programme covered in my own piss.
You had to go on it when you were
Is
covering
this why they booked you? Did they think
Let's get the guy that pisses on himself. This is brilliant.
I used to be the great wee man. It was an act.
Would you explain this?
Yes. I was on the way to do Big Brother's Big Mouth, right? So I was in the car, and then there was some terrorism business shindiggery going on up ahead. Couldn't go anywhere. Dying for a wee. You know that real? You know when wee is speaking to you, just wee.
And it feels like your back teeth are floating. That
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of sensation.
That is one of the best descriptions I have ever
You
heard.
actually get funny. You get like funny sensations in the nerves in your back teeth. It's like, oh, this doesn't
How
feel good
full
at
up
all.
is the wee in you?
I like the voice though. You do it. What happened was I decided, right, I'm going to fashion a crude toilet.
Right. What about a bottle?
MacIver in the corner there. Fashion a toilet out of a bottle.
Right.
There was no flushing mechanism.
Okay. Let's not be hasty. Let's just do the basics, yeah.
There was no fluffy cover, like it wasn't my mother's toilet. So I was just about to wee in it, and then either side on either lane there was 2 trucks pulled up, and the truck drivers could see me, and I was like, then
This ain't for you. Right?
Did that not give it an extra thrill, no?
No, it
Did that
actually put me
suggest-
off. Then the wheel locked itself down. The pressure building, ever building. Finally, they moved on. And I held up the traffic. And I was like, right, I'm going to do this. But my willy came out with a strange... I don't know how to describe it. I had like a pee erection. I was rock hard with wee-wee. For the love of God, this better not go out on TV. But now I've started telling you I'm going to finish.
You know what the producer's saying to me? It's going out.
Anyway, it fired out of me, right? I've never known wee like it. It fired straight up. Hit the roof and then rained on it. And either side, cars were just looking at me while I'm just getting rained on in my own place.
I was standing outside a bar in Dublin, and a Romanian girl was walking this way begging, and a Dublin guy was walking this way begging, and he went, "You fucking Japanese bastard." He got the wrong country, he got the wrong continent, he got the wrong race. I could have called her an Eskimo and been geographically closer. The only way he could have been more wrong was if he called her something that doesn't exist anymore. You fucking Inca coming over here with your Aztec ways, fighting the conquistadors in Ballyblack. It was ridiculous. Japan has the second biggest economy in the world. We wouldn't get a Japanese beggar. If we did, he'd be richer than us. He'd be sitting out on the Halfpenny Bridge just judging you, going, "Oh, you'll call that the mobile phone."
And I don't know about you, but I love water parks to the point that I know it's wrong for me to love water parks to the level I love water parks, especially when it's me and really 6 12-year-olds in a water park. Right? Well, see, I didn't do it, but like there is, if you've done water slides, you do get on a loop, right? Because they're great, they're fun, and then you do the slide and you go, "Way!" You're screaming to yourself, and then you get to the bottom, and then you immediately run around and go back up again, right? So you end up on a loop, basically, with the person who's directly in front of you, going like that. And their parents were there, sitting watching it every minute or so. Their child,
their eyes off you.
Every so often into shot, their child would run screaming, right? With the thing. And then I would run screaming after them, going, "Ah!"
I went to a waterslide park in Dubai once. I don't know, I mean, I don't want to slag people's religion or anything like that, but I had great fun in this waterslide park, and, you know, each to their own and everything. But you've not lived until you've seen a woman dressed head to toe in black cloth with just an icelet sitting in a rubber ring in a water park. It's the funniest thing you've ever seen. You know when she gets to heaven, she better be right. She doesn't want to get to heaven, but the Jews are right all along. She, "What? Jesus!" All right, she wouldn't say Jesus, but you know what I mean.
A convent in Italy is being shut down after a fight between its last 3 remaining nuns. This is a silent order, and the mother superior annoyed the other 2 nuns so much that they lost the plot with her, and she ended up in hospital with scratches all over her face.
I can understand that. I can understand how a silent person can really get on your nerves. It can be just their breathing, how they cough, how they eat an apple. Have you ever sat beside someone who's eating an apple the wrong way?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just thinking of your poor husband, you know that?
What do you mean eats an apple the wrong way?
Do you know the way somebody can just
Bobbing.
make this noise? So these nuns don't talk, right?
Yeah.
So somebody can just make a noise all the time.
I'll tell you,
Or maybe it was her toilet noise. Maybe it was kind of the noise.
Toilet noise.
So I say.
I agree with you, Mairead. It's the eating noises, because there's particular types of eating noises, right? There's different categories. There's the breathing one. It's the. Then there's the speaking one, where there's a little bit more.
What the hell was that? It was like you were feeling up an asthmatic. That's what.
I had a friend in school who used to eat club milks like that, and he did. His name is Marcus, and he'd open them, and he used to. Most people breathe through their nose when they're eating, but he would breathe through his mouth. So
he'd do this sort of thing.
He'd eat like that. But then there's other people who add more, make it more vocal. And I'm not. But then what's the worst is when somebody combines those two with the finger smacking. Yeah. No, but if say you finish a packet of chipsticks, right, and you know the lovely.
You are so from Limerick.
No, but you know the lovely dust at the bottom.
Yeah.
And when people
Lovely dust.
Oh, this isn't a Walt Disney cartoon.
I'm going to sprinkle some lovely dust everywhere.
She was just eating chipsticks and she got jumped.
How would you mind that?
Maybe they had the cards like the Navy had. Maybe they were holding up things going, fucking bitch.
Semaphore.
Chipstick licking bitch.
And I don't know whether it's because I'm not Irish and so you see Bertie in a different view. But any time you look at Bertie Ahern, to me, it looks like he runs a building firm. Do you know what I mean? He looks
you're
like...
not, in fairness, you're not telling the truth.
But you know, no, it does. He looks like he looks like, you know, at the European Union when they have the meetings, or he's having a meeting with George Bush. He looks like he's going up to him saying, George, you know, this White House that you're in, you want to air Texan? I could stone clad that for you. You gets out there. He does. He's always look like he's working
You're right,
for cash.
but when you're right, Bert, you can see the crack of his arse.
Oh, yeah. He is. He's the only country leader that looks like he drives a van.
Yeah, but Bertie is also...
That would be a fantastic official car, wouldn't it? Just a high-ace van with B. Ahern, Taoiseach. No job too small, cash in hand, work acceptance.
By the way, what is particularly funny about this is we are now in day one of National Cold Turkey Week. So if you are missing your heroin or your methadone substitute at the moment, and now you've tuned into this isn't helping in any way, I'd imagine. This is probably, if anything, making the pain worse. It's been an interesting week in terms of the poor lads with the, shuffling and needing the methadone.
Yeah, it's horrendous, man. I think it couldn't be more cruel, taking away what they need. It's cruelty, man.
You're right. Well, yeah, it is a
The way I said it twice, I meant it.
Man, it pounded the point home.
It's cruelty.
The cruelty of it.
What do they want? Like, why are they trying to crucify these people? They're already addicted to one thing. Why? What next? Take away their ice cream.
Do they like ice cream?
Junkies love ice cream. You wouldn't know this growing up on the south side, but a junkie will murder a golly bar.
That's what the HB stands for, hepatitis B.
They're saying that the reason that they're not going to stock it is because they're saying because of new regulations, they're going to be making a loss on supplying heroin to people with medical cards.
Make a loss?
But if they supply the methadone at a loss, but then have like an ice cream freezer in the shop, it's just like a lost leader. Get them in the door, and may I interest you in a gully bar, sir? Perhaps a Hiawatha.
Perhaps,
go back in time.
Would sir like a wibbly wobbly one?
How does the Minister for Finance not have a bank account? How? Surely there should be some sort of example he should be setting for everybody else. That's like having a health minister who's slightly obese.
Who says the Minister for Finance has to have a bank account? That's like saying the Minister for Justice has to have his own dungeon. And maybe he does. I'm not saying McDowell doesn't have a dungeon in his basement. He may well do. Nor am I saying that he does.
He does.
He does.
Michael McDowell, if he doesn't, it's in his head now, the idea.
It's insane. And then the whole thing about the house. That just sounds like so made up. Where did you get your house? I bought my house from Mr. Wall. Where did he get it? Mr. Roof? He bought
It is. He was casting around for the first thing his eyes rested on. Johnny Desk, Bobby Chair, Peter Carpet.
How did he, whenever he went to the EU and went to all those meetings and things with all these big foreign heads of thing, and I'm sure afterwards they go to the bar and have a drink and things, and the rest of them, like Gerhardt and all the boys, are going, don't worry, I will get to using my girl's credit card. Because he didn't have a credit card, because you need a bank account to get a credit card. Was he there with odds going, Ryan, who wants a drink?
Don't get the Finnish fella. He'll drink us under the table. Get rid of him.
Because one of the things that he got money for as well was he got $8,000 for speaking in Manchester about the finance in Ireland, about the Irish economy. You know, when he was Minister for Finance, and you're not supposed to make money out of being, you know, a minister or make money out of your position. So he claims that he didn't. He was just doing that speech as a private citizen. Just happened to be talking about the Irish economy. Are you going to tell me they didn't introduce him as the Irish finance minister? You're going to tell me they introduced him at that talk house, and here's some bloke who doesn't have a bank account.
But that's the thing, like, he was Minister of Finance, he had no bank account, he had no house, he was renting a house off, was it Paddy the Plaster?
Paddy the Plaster, yeah.
And,
that is a mafia name if I've ever heard of.
who's going to be scared of a guy called Paddy the Plaster?
Hey, you gotta watch yourself. Why? Paddy the Plaster is gonna come. What does he do? He's gonna plaster you. He's just gonna...
He makes you stay in all day waiting for him to arrive, and then he doesn't arrive. And you're phoning him, and he doesn't show up.
Tiny little speckles of white all over your furniture. You'll never get them off. And then at the end, he plasters you into the wall. Oh, I'm sorry, Paddy the Plasterer. I'm sorry. And he grouts over your face. He plasters you into the wall. That's what Paddy the Plasterer.
You went slightly Chinese there. You went, ha, why am I in the wall?
Do you remember Judge? Do you remember Judge telling you not to cross the road? He was great. Judge with the big black eye going like, oh, got to be safe here down the road. And you go, if you're so safe, where'd you get the black eye, you That'll so be edited out, by the way.
Remember, it was all the sort of health awareness videos.
There's so many of them.
They were so funny.
You just get the impression that Ireland in the 70s, we were all intensely stupid people. And we had to be told, don't stick your hand in the fire, for Jesus' sake. Stop sticking your hand in the fire. You're always with the hand and the fire, right?
There was a huge thing. There was a brilliant beach safety one in the 70s. It was just fantastic. This family going to the beach, and it's obviously fucking freezing. It's just obviously the weather's shit. And the dad, 70s dad, in his little speedo there like that. One of the things he says, he's like, shaking it at his kid, no, go in, you've just eaten, and all this. And one of the things is, if there's no signs or flags on the beach, then you know whether it's safe to swim. Go and ask someone who's local. And you just see this dad jogging up in his speedos to some bloke in an Aaron jumper and a big woolly hat, fixing his fishing net. Is it safe to swim here? Are you not freezing?
Do you remember there was one where you had a family playing on a picnic or something, and they're all by a river, right? The shot of the river, and the family having a picnic, right? And then one of the kids would turn and go, "Where's Grandad?" Where's Grandad? Halfway to the Shannon Estuary at this stage.
Unlike poor Prabir Das in India, who he was engaged to get married to this woman, and he turned up to meet her parents, and he was very excited, and he came in, and he walked in the house, and the door closed, and then she grabbed the wig off his head, because she didn't know, and grabbed this wig off his head. His family went, ah! And thought, "You're bald!" and then beat the shit out of him.
But the reason that they were upset is because he didn't put in the ad.
Yeah, because they put a small ad. That's a pretty common practice in India, is to put a small ad in when you're looking for a wife for a partner.
You gotta know that that's the stuff that they're full of lies. All those things are. It's like bubbly.
It's code.
Means pain in the hole. You know, mature means ancient, and curvaceous means free willy.
Bubbly usually means a bit, you know, carrying a bit of extra baggage, I believe the term is now.
You think?
Yeah, that's bubbly. Bubbly, fun loving. Woohoo! That means small, tiny, but woohoo. Lots of curly hair. Bubbly, bubbly like an arrow. I love arrow. Do you like arrow?
I always think the ones who actually advertise, I have a good sense of humor. When you're having to write that down, how would I describe myself? Well, I have a good sense of humor. I can tell in my mind when I hear jokes, I break them into binary code. Ones and zeros. 1 is a laugh, 0 is nodding in response. That way I build up conversation. 110, 001. I have a good sense of humor. It's a weird thing to fucking actually say about yourself. Or nobody would ever say it to you. Like, you're having a laugh at somebody, nobody would stop and go, I would just like to say that I'm finding that you have quite a good sense of humor. And all he's hearing is 1, 0.
The best quote is this proper quote. It says, apparently when your mother visited you in a clinic where you were drying out from multiple class A drug addiction, she sat down by your side and said to you, have I failed you as a mother, Sylvester? You said, it's Sebastian, mother. Is that
That's on the back of the book. That's on the dust jacket.
It's on the back of the book.
Well, I have to say, I was quite interested in the fact that you said you had an affair with well-known murderer and artist
Jimmy
Boyle. Are you not worried about tainting his reputation as a hard man?
You can ask me about being a prostitute. You can ask me about being a drug addict. You can ask me about being a failure, but please, no personal questions.
Question. You've been with, like you said, you've been from hookers that have cost £1,000 a night to £15 for a hand job down a back alley, right?
Yeah.
Now, have you ever been
before?
Yeah. In a back alley. Has there been any point where you've been just finished post-coitally lying there with bits of you on bits of them, off your tits on some whatever class A, and looked in the mirror and thought, yeah. My life is exactly where I want it to be.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all right then.
I look at myself in the mirror because, let's face it, I'm my type.
By the way, all the prostitutes you took, Virtue, the relationship you've had with the various women in your life, you've a lady who you're in a relationship now, she's your muse, but you're gay.
Am I?
Well, you just said you were gay.
I'm not.
You just referred to yourself as a homosexual.
Bye now, gay later.
We've actually, in the 5 years or so we've done the show, we've had, whatever, 20 comedians on. No one has had one-liners like this, just bang, bang, bang. It's impressive.
To be honest with you, whenever we read your bio, and I wasn't alone, I read your bio and I thought, he's a prick. And no, I met you actually. I'm really warm into you. I'm really warm into you.
I was kind of
I'm sorry about that. I feel I've let you
you're
down.
all right, man. You're all right. Maybe it's just Ireland. You're really not that weird
like
here.
Ireland.
You're just a confirmed bachelor in this country.
in this country.
The show is completely out of control.
Yeah, it does.